the violent kind of crimes that the judiciary is concerned about, we are also concerned about nuances, stories that are spread that are false, to either bring you down or to show you in a light that will ensure that you don't you don't stand a good chance. So on those conversations, we are looking at having specialized courts that are dealing with matters that are of concern under the Hate Speech Act. So for now, we intend that if a matter comes in under those dockets, either as an election offense matter, either against women candidates or whatever other persons who are the complainants, those matters will be finalized within 6 months. And for our intention as the judiciary is that, of course, with the other players in the chain, we will all be speaking from the same voice. I'm so glad to hear what Tabitha has had to say, because now I know we are having the synergy that we need. But please remember, that matter will not be brought to court until when you make the complaint official. You have to make that complaint. As much as you can, have someone to support you. As much as you can, seek other help. Because remember, the judiciary is only at the chain end. What we have psychological, this now I'm speaking as a sister. Please seek please speak counseling, but resolutions that we do is for the election petitions. Now these ones also are very limited in terms of how long we need to deliver on them. That is only 6 months. The matter that the session chair has spoken about. The issue with that matter is that we had a few issues that were raised as preliminary matters that needed to be resolved, and these are the issues that caused that time to be delayed. Because one court, there is an issue, a preliminary issue that is raised, and that has to be decided by one court. It is decided one way. It goes on appeal in another way. So by the time they come back now to the substantive case, you realize that the 6 months have already run out. So I want you to be very strategic. If eventually you get to a point when you have to file your matter, work very closely with your counsel, but please remember, courts are strict on timelines, and we have to deliver within 6 months. So even if there are issues that you need to raise within the case, preliminary issues that you need to raise within the case, please ask the court to defer for those preliminary issues, giving you the judgment. And we have to deal with the preliminary that goes on appeal, come back again. If the time is out, then you find yourself without a solution. That is what I can say while we go to the next discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Kushana. And we'll come back to that question, particularly on strategies when we have to go into court. I want to come now to you from the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, Jane. Challenge of the implementation of the two-thirds gender rule and the way in which it is effectively marginalizing women on the one hand, but also on the other hand, in its failure to be implemented or implemented fully, is causing a lacuna in the law. In fact, not just a gap in the law, it's more than that. We're just not upholding the law relating to the two-thirds rule. As the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, you have various powers within you, or within your businesses, political parties make good of that law. But more than that they don't just do it in a token way, but that they do it in a way that ensures that women can buy and can win. How do you intend now to ensure the two-thirds gender roles, not just in officials for political parties, but in the party list requirements for women and for special groups?
Good morning. Can you hear me? All right. So my name is Jane Kamau, and I am delighted to be here this morning. I must say there's something very magical, very, very empowering, very refreshing about being in the midst of women and strong women at that. So I feel very honored and privileged this morning that the registrar asked me to come and represent her here. So concerning the question that Mm, the Political Parties Act is very, very intentional and deliberate about, the intention to have women very, very included and playing active roles in politics. Because if you look at the entire process, for example, of even the registration of the political parties, right from the provisional registration, for those who know a little bit about the process requires only three people from the party to make the application. And even amongst that three, the Political Parties Act requires that they cannot all be of the same gender, that even at that point, the one-third gender rule is actually applied. And then it goes on even to, when talking about the full registration, again, the parties must demonstrate that their membership, their governing bodies, their internal committees are adhering to the one-third gender rule. And then it also goes on to demand, for adherence. Even after the party is fully registered, there is the issue of compliance that the registrar follows up, and the parties must comply every step of the way. We had an exercise, I think, between first and 7th of August, if I'm not wrong, or September, and we found that out of our 81 registered political parties, 76 are actually fully compliant on the issue of the one-third gender rule. The others, of course, were tasked to comply or face, the punitive act with the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. So I'm just here to say that you're the people who are in those parties. If there is any party that for whatever reason is not adhering, then it is actually upon you to let the registrar know, and she is able and willing to take up that matter. But from where we sit, the records show that at least more than 90% of the parties are compliant. Because if you have 76 out of 80, then the records show that there is compliance. If there are issues, then speak up and the registrar will do the necessary. I think that's all that I can say for now.
Thank you very much, Dave. And now I think to the woman of the moment. The questions have been fast and furious for you since Monday, or to your good offices. And while we would all love to know, as a start, about the electoral calendar. Cynthia, I think we all spoke about this electoral calendar very, very, very much so. So even as you address, just break down for us the different dates. There was a question that I haven't forgotten, ladies, from Monday, from that corner over there, which was the question around when does one resign from a party if they intend to move, and when is the cutoff date by which we must have complied in order to be able to run. And this, of course, goes to you, Dr. Catherine.
Good morning, sisters. Good morning. I'm very excited to see very, very many women who are vying or who are ready to go for the elected positions. And one of the reasons why I'm very excited is because as we start today, out of 1,883 positions, on and shape the entire region because of the many women that we are going to have elected positions so that we can rival Rwanda and all the other East African countries. On the question of the timelines, we do have, I may not have the data in my fingertips, but if you give me a few minutes, I can go back because I know we have had a new revision of the timelines that are not yet in our website. If you give me like 5 minutes as we are discussing, I will come up with the exact dates. Yeah. Thank you. Before we leave here, I will have given you the exact dates.
Excellent. So now I want to open it to the floor for the questions on the floor. And this is how we're going to do it. I noticed that the tables are in rows. So I will just come through from row to another. If you've got a question, as always, name what you're running for. Short, brief question. If the question has been asked or a question similar to that question, please allow for a different kind of question to be asked so that we can get as many varied answers as possible. Tuko sawa? Okay, and having raised your hand, you will go first. Where are my mics? Where are my microphones? So 1, 2, 3, 4 in the yellow, 5 in the maroon. 6 in the yellow again, 7 in the blue. Let's start with that. I think on your table with the yellow. Now just stand if I have called you so that the mics can move to you quickly. If I haven't called you, please don't stand. Don't worry, there'll be another opportunity. Right, questions real quick. Let's go. Name, what you're vying for, question, and to whom.
Okay. My name is Gladys Kamel from Nakuru County, from Lake constituency. My question goes to the security. Yeah, I want to ask the security. First of all, I want to appreciate that this time you are really giving your best in terms of secure women and the places of voting. But my question is, what measures are you going to take or to put so that women are not disadvantaged again by men who go ahead and bribe the officials? Because we may be having genuine cases. We may have even gone through the right procedure to complain. But the men counterparts or even other women who are more powerful than they want to corrupt it, may go ahead and go to these officials at the ground level and bribe them so that, again, justice is not found by the right women who are complaining. Thank you.
Fantastic question. Excellent.
Okay, thank you. My name is Esther Webale from Mazora County. I'm going for an LCS seat. Okay, my first question goes to the somebody from security. I want to ask, how best can we engage youth in cabin security during the electioneering period? Because really when we talk about security, it revolves around the youth. Because mostly the youth are the ones who are manipulated, they are being used. They can either protect you or they can ruin you. My second question is about, goes to the registrar. Okay, you are not okay. It's about funds, funding the political parties. I want to know which criteria the government uses to fund political parties. Because mostly like last time I saw that they only funded 2 parties. But me as a mother, I think they should think about these small parties because they come from the UGL party. And because mtango mwingine mdogo atakula. So I think the government should think about that. Think about the small parties too. And if anything out of hitaji, these big parties they already have money and have the funds.
Thank you. Excellent. Question number 3 and question number 4 was somewhere over here. Please stand up so that the mic person can come to you quickly. I want as many questions as possible today.
Okay, I'm Shamina Aziz from Mombasa, MCA, Kasbani World. My question goes to the police service. It's bad, as something like it's bad, times like the other time, 2017, I was running for the MCA. I was
But the way the communication, the way the police talk to me, I really felt bad. Please, what are we going to do to change this language of the police towards women? I went and reported what happened to me. The police said to me, Mama, where are you going to do? It was bad. Please, you want to, what are you going to do to change this characters of some police? Not all of them, but the biggest of them.
And I think if you don't mind me adding to that question, how do we report rogue officers? How do we ensure that there's some mechanism that into behaving well? If you don't mind me adding to your question.
Good morning, Mayor. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Eitani. I come from Elgeyo Marakwet County, aspiring governor in Elgeyo Marakwet County. My question goes to Inspector General of Police. I come from a very volatile community, especially the Kerio Valley, whereby there's a lot of insecurity and women are fearing going to do campaigns. How are you going to restore peace within our community? Because it's so dangerous. People are being killed each and every day. Number two, my second question to you. When are you going to give us security? Is it after nominations or before nominations? Thank you. My third question goes to the registrar of political parties. Now that there's a law that we are not supposed to party up after nominations, in many communities, women are not given free and fair nominations. Now, if we don't get a free and fair nomination, what are we supposed to do? And we are not supposed to put as a vote. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you for those questions. I just want to check, is Honorable Rosalyn Aganyo on? Not yet? Okay, excellent. We'll take a few more questions. Now, have I gone through everyone who I called through the first round? I have now. Who is, there you are. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Dr. Omega. I'm applying for a member of the executive, Judah, Yahoo County. My question was to I also for discussing the police. I train in human rights and I've done postgraduate in Kenya. And women are coming out and speaking out that they are not able to choose for their ideal candidate, especially women who are married. And this is because we have in polling stations, we have people who are supporting women who are not literate, they're going to cast votes, but they're going to report to their husbands that they voted this person. That's an electoral offense, isn't it? So how are we going to ensure that we are mitigating this? Because it's really doesn't endure.
Excellent, thank you. And I know that there was a last question. No, I'll come around, don't worry. Ladies, you know I'll come around. Hold on. Hold on, we'll come around. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning, fellow ladies. Morning. Thanks so much for giving us an opportunity to express ourselves. My question goes to Madam from IBC. My question is, I'm planning to go for an independent candidate for an MCAC. That is the central and central constituency. Now, what is the timeline of I applying for the same? Another question is, what are the requirements of the same? I need an answer from you.
Excellent, thank you. Let's allow that first round of responses after that question, and then we come back for another round. Fair enough? Okay, excellent. Last question.
Thank you. My name is Tabitha Motinda Monene, aspiring women rep Nairobi County. Thank you. I'd like to focus my question. How are you addressing the issue of coalitions that are currently happening? Because we notice that is where most women are normally left out. The two strong parties that are there for women, we have Charity Youth and Mother Karua, and we have our sister, the presidential candidate there. But when coalitions are being done, women are not left out. The men end up taking most of these seats. If you will be able to give much more advice on it, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Allow that we do one round of answers and then we come round. We're here until 10:30, so we still have some time, okay? Which way would we want to begin? I think we might start with you, security. You have very many questions, and then come right across, and you can just take one topic each.
Thank you very much. Most of the questions asked revolve around GBV, and therefore I want to report that we have a policy in place that was launched in October this year. It is called Polycare, and therefore there's a policy to that effect. Kindly Google and you'll find Polycare launched by the National Police Service to safeguard spaces of women and ensure that they have a voice where they come to report some of these issues in the police stations. And therefore, much of the answers will be found there. But again, the issues of corruption, corrupting the officials and all that, I think it happens to everyone because politics is about competition. And therefore, it only gets worse when it comes to a woman because she's looked down upon. And therefore, just take that brave step to ensure that you report such kind of corruptions. And there is a law that will ensure that it's either things stand upside down or even be looked into afresh. And therefore, there is always a redress mechanism into that. And therefore, please, we just require that you become bold to report, to shout, and ensure that your voice is heard. And I've heard about involvement of youth in peace and security. What we are doing as the National Police Service is that we are plugging into the CSO world because the best platform to get information is through CSOs. So we have always worked with community service organizations, NGOs, and the civil societies to ensure that we collaborate and work with them so that we can create a common platform for sharing information. In 2017-2018, we had youth from universities, and some of you might have noticed during campaigns, we had youth from 6 in the morning to 9 during traffic hours in the morning who are actually showing placards of peace, and they're coming from universities. And therefore, that is what NPS is doing, to ensure that we work closely with the youth. We also had a vibrant program in the informal settlements of Kibra and also Kawangware. We had recruited over 200 youth from the informal settlements. And now that we have even more engagement with them in the current developments by the NMS, Nairobi Metropolitan Services, we have recruited so many youth in the slums who will work with us to ensure that we enhance peace and security. Now, a pertinent question is about the rogue officers and the manner in which women are treated. Women are treated when they go to report incidences. I think it was asked, where can we report these rogue officers? I think there are ways to report. We have the Administration of Justice, Commission on Administration of Justice. We also have other channels, but all in all, if you have confidence enough to report to your CS, that is even better because the officer can easily be found. You know, sometimes you may just get angry and you not even take details of how the officer looks like. So the immediate step you can take is to ask for the senior most person in that police station. If you see things are not good, ask for the senior most, and that is your right. It is not because you are a woman. It is a right of every Kenyan to seek redress mechanism from higher authority. And at the end of this also, I'll share my number so that you can also contact me. Regardless where in Kenya, just call me and I'll be able to see how it can be helped. I think I've answered.
Yes, and we'll have another round, of course. Um, the number will come at the end, like he said. So just allow. Now, meanwhile, I need my technical people to give me more microphones on stage. Moses and company, if you could get my tech people to give us more microphones on stage, please.
Thank you so much. I want to answer to two questions. One is about gender-based violence against women, and the other is how to report rogue officers. I want to report that as I was introduced as being the head of civil rights in the office of the DPP, we have a division dedicated to the civil rights, and we deal with all matters relating to those rights, including police accountability. And we work very closely with the IPOA, which is the Independent Police Oversight Authority, which is a specialized body to deal with police excesses. So if you have a matter against a police officer, you can attempt to report to the police station, but when you are not satisfied, you can still report directly to IPOA. The police also have a unit called Internal Affairs Unit, which is a disciplinary wing of the police. So when you have a case of police excesses again, and you think you can get help or the police officer can be disciplined, you can also report there. For us, we also have a dedicated complaints unit. We receive complaints, and the Constitution mandates the ODPP to receive complaints and even direct the IG or the police to investigate matters and to bring the reports to him. For GBV, we have a dedicated unit on gender-based violence, and we handle all these matters. So again, when they come to us, we will process and will ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book, whether they are police officers or civilians or fellow aspirants. Thank you.
I think most of the questions have already been taken, but I want to address myself to one question that was asked by the executive time, the expiring governor from about free and fair nominations. I think this will address also a number of persons here. Now, when nominations are done, we have the political parties dispute resolution, dispute tribunal. When you have a complaint, please, that is your first point of call. Please let's be clear, if it's about nominations, do not start by rushing to court. Because if you go to court, the first question will be, have you been to the political parties dispute resolution tribunal? Then there is also a window through the IEBC, who I'm sure my sister here will say something about, who also resolve some of those disputes. These two bodies deal with party primaries and also nomination lists. So that you find for nomination lists is when you have won the party primaries and you should be on the ballot, but you realize that when the lists are submitted to IEBC, your name is elected. Those are the two places you need to go. Then I also want to stand in solidarity with the...
Sorry, shall I slow you down and ask you to repeat that point? Because of the number of times that we have raised the question of what happens when the list is changed at night. So just repeat that, and ladies, listen, because she's just given you the answer.
Political parties nominations. When you are disenfranchised, when you are unhappy about the process, start your issue at the political parties district tribunal. They are based at Milimani. They have a few pilot offices. I can give you those courts that have those offices. Maybe as we go along. For all political party nomination issues, start with those two tribunals, that one and the IEBC. When we do nomination party lists that are submitted to IEBC, again, those two tribunals are your point of call. But I will encourage you, because I'm within judiciary and political parties tribunal, district tribunal is within judiciary, please come to us for issues on those two. Then I want to also respond to the issue that was raised on by Wanjiku. Are you Wanjiku from Twitter? Support for voters who are in interest. There is the law provides that that voter goes to the person they trust, but perhaps that person they trust is also not, is the very person who sets them up. So perhaps as a party, you need to consider having a few of your agents going there purposely to offer that service. That is what I can say.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The question of the assisted voter, I think has been answered by my good sister. But what I would want to say is that when the assisted voter goes to the booth, they have a right to choose who is going to assist them. The presiding officer is the one who is supposed to help them in terms of marking their ballot, but they have a right to choose who is going to assist them so that that issue of people going to report to the husband or to whoever how she voted is not there, because the secrecy of the ballot is very, very paramount. So it is important that you let your supporters know this, especially in areas where we have very high literacy levels. The other question that was asked by my good sister running for the MCA on the requirements. While all the requirements that all candidates are supposed to meet, for the independent candidate, you're supposed to not be a member of a political party at least 3 months before the nomination. So make sure that if you are a member of a political party and you want to run as an independent candidate, then you resign from the party at least 3 months before the nomination. Then the other requirement is that you must have clearance from ORPP, just like the other candidates, and you must also have a SEBO that must be approved by IBC. And your SEBO must be unique. It must not resemble any other SEBO that is being used either by a political party or by any other candidate. And that is why it is important to start thinking about it now, doing your research to see what SEBOs are being used, so that when that time comes, then you are safe. The other requirement is that you must have 500 supporters who must be registered voters. They may not be members of a party, but they must be registered voters. At least at the MCA level, 500 must be you must have those supporters. Thank you.
Just a quick clarification from you. By when must the symbol have been approved, and by when must you have the clearance from ORPP?
I think the clearance from ORPP, my sister can answer that. For the SEBO, it is after the nomination.
After the nominations. Okay. So independent candidates, or those planning to run independent, you've heard your timelines, yes? Excellent.
Okay, thank you. And I just take from where my sister has left concerning the independent candidates. You're supposed to have your symbol 3 months to elections. And remember, you must not be a member of a political party 3 months to elections. And therefore, for the purposes of the 2022 general elections, that means that you must have resigned from any political party by 2nd of May. By the 10th of May, 2022. Now for the symbol, then it means that you must have registered your symbol with us by 2nd of May. Okay? So you must be partyless by 9th of May. You must have your symbol by 2nd of May. So the Sister who is running as an independent candidate, please come. We will be very excited to help you, to give you a letter to show that you're not a member of a political party, and to help you register your symbol. At least that one will be able to do for you. Okay, so I have 2 questions here. There's a sister there who asked about the issue of funding for political parties. I must must admit that that is a very, very valid concern. It is an issue that has been raised over and over again. And I'm happy to report that ORPP has actually drafted an amendment to the political party funding. We are calling it the political parties amendment to the bill 2021. In that bill, we are actually seeking to expand the number of political parties that have been funded. So at least I can confidently say that your concerns are valid. Islam has had that even in the past, and now they actually appeal in Parliament to amend that bill of funding so that they can be able to accommodate more political parties. The other issue is the issue of party hopping. My sister, party hopping is still allowable even up to now. Okay, we can still party hop. However, there is a bill that is seeking to bring that to an end. And the intentions are good. And it's not a bill, I must say it is the IPC bill. Let me put them on the spot a little bit. It is their bill. But I know for sure the intentions are good and what we support that intention. Because why? The reason is that we want to strengthen political parties. Because what happens is that we stay in a party, one leg in, one leg out. And then after nominations, I will go saying they were actually symbolic, they were not fair, they were not this, and then I go, you know? And therefore that's why we do not have a good, that's why we don't have strong parties. The whole idea is for us to build political parties that we believe in. Political parties whose ideologies we support and buy. And if we win in the party. If we lose in the party. But now, what has been happening in the past is that tunaingianga tu kwa party kushikilia, and many times people are not really buying the ideologies of that party. I think that bill, the intention is not bad. It just seeks to build political parties where people can grow politically and build their political careers. But as at now, you can still vote. The status will remain as at now.
Excellent, thank you so much. Now, I understand that our next speakers are not too far off, and I want to manage time. So I'm going to take another round of, can I take 4 more questions? Where is my 4 more questions? Is that okay? Yes? Okay. On that table, because I had pointed to you, who have you agreed is going to ask the question? Point. 1, 2, someone in the middle, 3. Someone at this table has asked the question already. Red scarf. Now, everyone else, right now, look down, take your pads. You know we did this yesterday and the day before. Write down your question right now so that we don't lose the questions. Okay? So the 4 that I have asked, please stand up. And then the others, write down your questions. Write it down. Because I'm also being chased for time. I answer to others. So I'm also... Question. Where are my mics, please? Go ahead, ask the question while you're...
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Karani, aspiring representative Kisi County. My question is defamation an electoral offense? And if yes, how is an aspirant supposed to go about it?
Excellent, thank you. The second question was not to you, it was to her. Na mkiniletea maswali mnaniambia nani nataka jibu.
We are not supposed to be having fundraisers from the 9th of this month, right? But as aspirants, are we supposed to hold fundraisers to support our campaigns?
Okay, thank you. Next question. Over there, and then we'll come to you.
morning. I'm Fatima Zanabrashan from the Bakassi constituency. In 2017, Embakasi is three-quarters of Embakasi is a slum, and in 2017, the talent center for Imara Daima was Embakasi Girls. Then a masculine comes in with a pistol, and he scares everybody. Immediately after that, the lights go off. Where are the police officers who allowed this man? And is this the city MCA of Imara Daima? Was it right for this man to come with a pistol in the talent center? Thank you.
Excellent. Next question, and then the last one will be over here. Quickly.
My name is Dr. Karani, aspiring senator in the county. My question is also a suggestion by extension, first the National Police Service and the DPP. Now, most of the offices that you are referring to are in Nairobi. And let's make a request that you find a way of evolving these electoral functions. So that's when I'm in their room. I know when I go to the police office or the DPP office, I can find somebody who can help me navigate my environment. I also have a question for IDP and the registrar of political parties. I want to put a similar question to both of you. Last year, we did affirmative action for women aspirants, where the nomination fee was 50,000 for women to be half, which was very good. So what are your arrangements for affirmative action for women aspirants this year? And then this other question that I want to put as a request, that you have that affirmative action, and at least get the political parties, other than giving us half the fee, can they also allow us that among the nominees, the two that gender will be observed by the political parties? Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you very much. 1, 2. And you're not bringing me your questions, so how are they going to be answered? Write them down, bring them. No. Sorry. Allow me to just say no.
My name is Caroline Abbott from Kisumu County, aspiring to the NCA seat. My question to the last speaker on the other end, the two of you. How do you strengthen political by killing the freedom of party voting? While we know that the reality on the ground is that the nomination is marked by violence and everything. How are you going to ensure that the policy that is coming in place will actually favor the real candidate, irrespective of who you are and what you don't have? The other two is to all of you. Over the years, we've been coming to this place, and we have been speaking the same language. The imagined questions, the imagined the responses are the same. We want you to be real. We want you to grow teeth, show us canines, bite deep hard, so that when we go for elections, you know the insecurities that women face. And you know.
Okay, without the speech, the question, sorry, because I'm so pressed for time. Thank you. Please, kwa heshima kuu na unyenyekevu.
Thank you. So this is what I'm saying. How are you going to ensure that the local woman, the local candidate on the ground, or whatever aspect, gets the same security, gets the same treatment? Please give us facts. Act. We are tired of the same narrative. Year in, year out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And over there.
Thank you so much. My name is Sharon Madogo, aspiring for the FCA of County. I am also advocating for the rights of persons with disability because I'm very with disability. So my question is, you tell me who they are for. What measures do you have for us, persons with disability, in terms of security? Because we have basically disabilities like epilepsy. Epilepsy is an invisible disability. What measures do you have for persons with disabilities, especially those that you cannot see, the invisible disabilities? Two, Article 54 of the Kenyan Constitution talks about inclusivity. I want to
want to request our panelists, since now we can count on your perspective. Whenever we are taking questions, maybe let us observe and if you see it matters. The last question I want to ask for qualifications. This one I'm asking on behalf of 10 others because for others, yes, we were told degrees and we don't know it's not mandatory.
Who are
Now,
the
for the other
Who are the
positions,
questions?
what are the qualifications that you are going to
Numbers.
use
Yeah,
for
what
this
numbers?
the county elections? Thank you so much.
Excellent, thank you. And I have distributed all the questions that you have brought to me so far. Let them answer, and then we can see if we've got time for another round. I know you have one. I know she has one as well. I know she has one. I know many of you have one. But I also know that you need to leave at 2 p.m. So I'll just be the bad person now in the prefect. Right, and no more questions now so that they can respond to these ones. Shall we start from this end now with you, Jane?
I don't see the way to start. There was a question on the floor. I have verified another here. Okay, so parties are using different methods for nominations. When are they required to communicate to their members which methods they need? Good to meet you. No, Cecilia, the party is free to use all these methods are written for in the Constitution, right? And the parties have, every political party has its own constitution that spells out which method of nomination they are going to use. So I think if you're a member of a party and you do not know which nomination criteria they are going to use, then I think there's a problem. Isn't it? Yeah, because you should know. You're a member of that party. When you join a party, you must familiarize yourself with the constitution of that party. So I think I'm going to throw the ball back to you, Cecilia. Go back to your party and see what the party constitution says. Because the constitution, even the constitution of Kenya allows a number of methods. And it doesn't restrict that this party has only used it. So please familiarize yourself with what method is stated for in the constitution of your party.
You and Chapa, people who arrive at the last minute. Yes, it's 1 minute.
Let me start with the affirmative action that was taken in the last general election.
You are the people going to beat.
That affirmative action still stands because it has not been revoked. We haven't seen anything that has reported, so it is still stands. Then there's a question from Molly, who is trying to be a woman rights. And she's asking how will she protect her vote if she has few agents. I said in the polling station we have the presiding officer, and I think this is in relation to the assistant voter. There are few. We have the presiding officer who is an electoral official who is actually sworn to protect the votes of the candidates. Then we have observers, and we have observers who are there to ensure that the election is the voting process is actually being carried out as per the law and as per the guidelines. And the electoral officials are actually well trained, so I think your votes will be safe. They are coming quite a number. The other one is on when should I resign from my government job? It's supposed to be 6 months before the general election. So if the election is on the 9th of August, count backward and see the exact date. I have a comprehensive timeline that I promise that I will have, and that can be shared so that you know exactly when you're supposed to do what.
Excellent. And at the end, I'm going to ask that everyone shares their information so that you can get more questions. Now, do not bring me any more questions. I I'm now being like Chebukati. I closed the opportunity to ask questions so that they can respond, but you will get all of the information on how to reach them. Because what's important is that you get served, isn't it?
There are a few questions.
Sorry?
The time frame for IEBC handling disputes is normally not effective. That's a question from Margaret Bunde. Can we get the disputes handled at county level? I'll not speak for IEBC, but I'll speak for political parties dispute tribunal. They now have regional offices in 8 regions, the former provisional headquarters. So go to the court there, they will have a desk where you can file your petitions that are intended for the political parties dispute resolution. And no, for them, they don't have a timeline within which they have to deliver. In the last election cycle, they did deliver on all the matters that were filed before the nominations, before the party lists, before the time stipulated for the submitting of the party lists. Something about the 2/3 gender rule that has not been effected. Yes, of course, you're aware that the court has already declared itself on this, and there has even been many other declarations that there has been no compliance. That is why we need more of you in Parliament so that you can enforce the orders of court. Those are the questions that were intended for me. Thank you.
Okay. Let me just answer.
Okay, let me just answer to what I can. About hate speech, somebody has asked whether defamation, when someone defames you, whether it amounts to an offense. Yes, indeed, defamation is an offense, and there are so many other offenses related to that defamation. You have use of inflammatory words, abusive or derogatory words, language during various phases of election cycle, and also use of defamatory materials. All these are cases which are prosecutable in law, and when somebody does this to you, you are a complainant, you can move to the nearest police station to report. But we also have the NCIC, National Integrated Commission, Cohesion and Integrated Commission that deals with such matters. We have our presence in all 7 counties. We have an office of the DPP, it's called ODPP, in 47 counties and in 130 sub-county stations. You can find us at info@odpp.co.ke, and also in our website, we have all the regional contact offices there. So you can find us also at www.odpp.co.ke. So another question that I've seen about, yeah, we have decentralized, and we are there. And then there's this one about billboard erecting. I think billboards are controlled by county governments about who should put a billboard and the rates and all that. But when it comes to elections, then you can forward your complaint to the IEBC. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. And security.
Yeah, to begin with, someone has asked hotline numbers. It's hotline numbers for National Police Service, 999, 999, 911, and finally 112. No.
I think that, okay, got it, thank you, I got it. What they're asking for is there a special hotline for election offenses? And if so, or for offenses related specifically to women? And if so, what is that number? If not, give us the numbers that there are.
Okay, the numbers available as of now are the ones that I'm sharing. And I said before that we have body care policy. You can also look into that, know how you can be able to report. So the numbers are 999, 911 112. Then somebody also asked about security for women during elections. Yes, you are entitled to security in case you have a reason to believe that your security is not well taken care of.
Okay, let me interrupt you, Mark. Ladies, let's do this, huh? Security is one of the most critical areas, isn't it?
Yes.
For those for whom it is not a critical area, I beg you, because there are some of you who are saying, we can't hear. Just allow those who need to hear this information here. Because there are people at border counties who are struggling with small arms proliferation. There are those who are being mugged as they go home. They're worried right now. So allow that Mark respond, I ask you. And then at tea time, we can have these other conversations. Took us out. Please. And then say it really loudly. And everyone else, allow him. Because it's for those sisters who we don't want to read in the newspaper, thing happened too.
Thank you very much. Actually, I didn't want to stand because this is your love, and I'm really honored.
Mark, come and stand here.
Thank you very much. Now, issues of security are very serious, and as I said, if you have any issue that touches on your security, kindly pronounce it, complain. That is the only way to deal with security. Not by speaking in a very low tone, complain and demand this is your right. So I've told you how you can report to such kind of threats. 911 112 999. Now finally, on issues to do with security, particularly in the eastern side, northeastern side, we have people from Marsabit, Isiolo, Samburu, Baringo, who feel that they have no space, particularly to exercise their political rights. This is a national issue that is being taken care of, and high-level policymakers are concerned about this. Issues to do with security, particularly in Marsabit, this is not something that I can say now that this is what you're going to do. But the government is taking very bold steps to suppress those who think that they are above the law. And of course, we understand what is happening. Some of us is about ethnicity, negative ethnicity. People have balkanized their regions and they want to protect and say this is our region, no other ethnic group should access up to this point. That is not going to be accepted in Kenya today. And I can assure you, you will see such results. And somebody also has asked about why is it that we have apprehended Lempurken, he's already in prison, and we have others who are still working scot-free. That is not on our side as the police. We have done the investigations and we have processed whatever reports that needed to be processed to ODPP are waiting for prosecution. Finally, are we allowed to choose the security persons we want? This is from a lady, honorable lady. Yes, this is allowed, particularly if you have a police officer whom you have a reason to believe that will take good care of you. Policy on bodyguards allows the VIP to choose whoever that you think respects you, has loyalty, and can also go an extra mile to ensure that you are safe. Those were my questions, and thank you very much.
Excellent, thank you so much. Now, for everyone who, now for everyone in the room and everyone whose data we have, we will send to you, together with the information this morning on Uwezo and on Women's Fund and the rest of the funds that we spoke about this morning, we will send to you the contacts for those who are represented here on the stage. Please make sure that you check your communications. Okay.
I asked Renee for permission to say something very quick, because I've seen a number of
whether they're members of political parties, and somebody has said that the numbers ziko M-Pesa, ziko kila mahali, so tunaweka kwa party all the time. So ORPP has launched the e-citizen platform. The same way you go to apply for your driving license, for your certificate of good conduct, kwa hiyo platform ukienda hapo, you're able to perform all those activities. You can resign from a political party without having to go through the party. You can check the status if you're a member of a political party. And if you want to join a political party, you can also do from the same platform. So I think it is much, much easier. And I know there are people who even continue to make it easier for us. But as at now, that platform is actually serving Kenyans very, very well because you can do it from wherever. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the response is that in some cases it's not working, and in others it's very difficult to resign from a party that you never even joined in the first place. I shocked myself when I went and found out that I had actually registered in a political party, shock on me, and was asked for a fairly long procedure to resign from a party I was never in the first place. Not that I don't like the party, but I am very apolitical. My humble plea to all the departments, to all the offices, please give equal attention to all of us, especially women, big, known, small, unknown. Encourage us. Pay attention to our requests when we come before you, because we are standing to win and to change this country. This, a note from one of you. I think that's a fantastic way to end this session. I know you still had a lot of questions. There are a number of you who have announcements that you want to make. We will need to hold off those announcements because they're not on the program, and see when, in liaison with FIDA, I can give you a space, or whether I can give you a space to make short announcements. If I can't, write me what the announcement is, and I'll see how to pepper them in between, because I also want to be fair to you. I know you also came to speak, but also we need to get on with the program. Okay. Now, first of all, should we give a round of applause to all of our speakers? Now, time is what we are always chasing in life and in conferences. It is now 10:38 East Africa time. Hold on. It is now 10:38 East Africa time. We will have tea for 15 Swiss minutes. In other words, 38 plus 15, what was it? No. 844, I think, are the ones who are represented. We will be back at what time? No, not at 11. Hey. 10:45. No, 10:55. 10:55, please. Yeah, come to me, if I can move you. Ladies, as you leave, let me tell you something about this position. We are chased by time always.
For example, this IBC having two ballot papers, some serialized, some not serialized. That was the basis of my petition. I lost the case, Kisumu County Woman Rep, based on that. Then I asked also.
Hold on, because I want to be able to find a way to bring it up.
Yeah. Then I asked.
Serialized ballot?
And non-serialized. So one candidate is using the same two. Then another one, IBC. Some candidates now are already erected, have already erected their campaign billboards. So she asked the police officer to reply me, no, you, why are they doing so? And yet, that is an offense, election offense. And why are they not? The person who is doing that so much in Kisumu is an IBC lawyer. That's why you people are not prosecuting him. You see. Then the third one, yeah? Election billboards, yes, campaign billboards. Yeah? This 1 million and so on, very big. Nothing to do with the county government. Yeah. And he's also an IBC lawyer. Yeah. From agenda. What is the candidate? Yeah.
So, Senator candidate. Yes. And the last election, IEBC accepted non-serialized ballot papers and serialized ballot papers. While we know that the non-serialized were manufactured in the area, that is unfair. Yeah. Inaanza kutuletea drama za kina Sonko. Hii unaanza kutuletea drama za Sonko kila wakati. Niangalie manyangeli kando. So, huko niangalie mbele ama niangalie wapi? Oh. So, yasema ni pink. So, wapiga nifanya hivi mkono. So, there are so many issues in terms of infrastructure,
I am thinking we need to change Meru.
We have to change Meru, yeah, for good and for real.
And